Hello BookTube, hello book friends, welcome back to another video. This is another tag video. This one came from Robert G, reader of books. He did this, I think it was yesterday. He didn't tag anyone, but when I saw the prompts, I thought, actually, you know what, this fits absolutely perfectly with the Read What You Own challenge, which I'm doing at the moment, as you know. And so I thought what I would do would be to take the prompts and just run through them. And it's also given me some ideas for books on my shelves that could go as part of the Read What You Own challenge. So without further ado, there are 8 prompts, but only 7 of them. I can't speak this morning. 7 of them relate to books. So here we go. The first prompt, number 1, a classic book that you have been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. Now, the word forever crops up a few times in these prompts, and I'm interpreting that loosely, given that forever is an awfully long time. So the books that I'm picking for the forever part of these tag questions, I've had a while. Multiple years. So a classic book that you have been meaning to read forever. You can see this is a big stack of books. Been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. And this is Charles Dickens' The Old Curiosity Shop. Now, this was given to me as a birthday present when I think I was either 20 or 21. I was at university. And it was given to me by my housemates as my birthday present. I haven't read it. I've started it a number of times, and for whatever reason I've put it to one side. I like Charles Dickens. I've read a few of his novels and quite a lot of his kind of shorter works. A Christmas Carol is one of my absolute favourite books. It's one I read every Christmas or every December just before Christmas, and will do this year. So I don't quite know why I've never been able to get into this, but I think I might add this to my potential TBR for the Read What You Own challenge. So that's my classic book that I've been meaning to read forever but haven't read yet. So, a book on your shelf you haven't read yet. Well, there's a big stack of them there. But the one I picked was Dick Francis, To the Hilt. Now, this is, to my knowledge, the last Dick Francis hardcover that I bought. I don't know when, can't remember. But it's one of his last books, and it's one that's been sitting on my shelf unread for quite a while. Now, if you've watched my Comfort Reads video, you'll know that Dick Francis is one of my comfort read authors, one of the authors that I will go to if I just need a book to break a reading slump or whatever. And I'm really surprised when I was looking through my shelves and I saw this and thought, I still haven't read that. So again, be going on my Read What You Own challenge potential TBR, and maybe I'll get it read before the end of the challenge. Prompt number 3, a book that you recently got that you haven't read yet. Well, I've been good. Since I started the Read What You Own challenge, I haven't bought any books. So I did have one pre-order that came literally, I think it was about a week or 5 days before the challenge started for me. And that was this book, which is Absolution by Jeff Vandermeer. Now, if you don't know who Jeff Vandermeer is, this is the 4th book in what is loosely regarded as the Southern Reach trilogy. And he's recently, or the publishers have recently republished the first 3 books because it was the 10th anniversary of the first book, Annihilation. And Jeff basically wrote a new novel kind of almost to celebrate the fact that it was a 10th anniversary, I think. So this came, as I say, just before the Read What You Own Challenge started. Technically it would count as one of my 25 books if I read it during the challenge, because it came before I started, but I'm minded to wait until I finish the challenge before I read this. I might reread the first 3 books before I read this one, because this is what you'd call weird science fiction, or weird fiction at least, and I think I really need to reread the first 3 books to kind of get my head back into the space where this book is written. It's that kind of a novel that, you know, it makes sense when you read. Well, I'm not saying it makes sense when you're reading it, because it probably doesn't make sense when you're reading it all the time. I think it's the sort of book that I still don't think I get, but it has a fascination for me that I'll keep going back to it anyway. So yeah, this came. This is a book that I recently got, but I haven't read yet. Another forever, a book you had forever but haven't read yet. So again, I haven't had this forever. This is the Last Dog on the Hill. I can't remember who it's by Steve Dunno, and this was given to me by my wife. I think back in about 2010, maybe a bit earlier than that. And I've started it. I think it's still got a bookmark in it. Yeah, it's got a bookmark in it. So it's a book that I've started, put to one side, and haven't read. So I'm going to keep this out and maybe read it as one of my Read What You Own Challenge books. So it's going on the potential TBR for the Read What You Own Challenge, but we'll see. I've got a lot now I've more than my 25 anyway, I think. A book a friend recommended that you haven't read. Well, that could cover a lot, but I've got a book here that multiple people have recommended to me, both people I know and fellow booktubers and others. And that's Imaginary Friend, so quite aptly named, by Stephen Chbosky. And I guess, let me read the back. It's a kind of horror novel, and I say you can just see that it's quite an interesting cover. There's a couple of I think they're supposed to be deer, but if I waggle a cover from side to side, can you see them there? And it's really nice. I like covers like that, same as the Absolution cover. That's got a bit of detail to it that probably doesn't come out on the camera. But yeah, this is a book that's been recommended. I haven't read this yet. I've had it a little while. Again, another potential Read What You Own Challenge TBR. A book you're procrastinating on, prompt number 6. Now, I need to give a bit of background. Back earlier this year, I read Alexandre Dumas' The Three Musketeers, and really enjoyed it. And I thought, you know what, I'm not a massive classics reader, but I do read now and again. You know what, I'm going to buy another one of his books and read. And I thought, I'll start with the ones that he's well known for, and you know, we'll come back to any of the others if I get that involved. So I thought I'd get The Count of Monte Cristo. Now, what I didn't realise was that The Count of Monte Cristo is a fairly hefty volume. In order, let me have a look. So this is 1,462 pages, and it is 1,400. There isn't an introduction like there is. There's a list of chapters and then it's straight in. So it's not one of those versions that's got, you know, an introduction by Mr. Very Bright Academic. So this is one, again, you can probably see there is a bookmark in there. So I've read the first 22 pages, and I'm enjoying it. I just procrastinate over reading it because it's so big and heavy. I think this is the kind of book I really should have got on my Kindle, and then I wouldn't have quite realised how big it was, and I wouldn't also have had problems holding it in bed at night, which is, never a good thing. So yeah, that's a book I'm procrastinating on. I will read it. I'm enjoying it so far. I just need to stop procrastinating about it. Question number 7, the final question about books at least. The next book on your TBR. Well, I only started this yesterday, so this is my kind of next book on my time. I am reading it, but it was the next book on my TBR. And this is The Long Night, and it's about the journalist William L. Shirer and his reporting during World War II, or the lead up to World War II and the first couple of years of World War II from Berlin in Germany. And it's a biography of his that time. And I have an interest in war correspondence, particularly from the Second World War, but war artists, journalists, so people like Edward Ardizone, Eric Ravilius, who else? Richard Tregaskis, Ernie Pyle, all sorts of there are many famous names, and it's of an interest to me. William L. Shirer wasn't per se a conflict journalist. He wasn't on the front line like some of the others. Like Ernie Pyle was literally kind of, more or less on the front line, right behind the troops. But this is much more of a domestic view of the war and the lead up to it, from Germany, from inside Germany, and his diaries, which I've read, are fascinating, and there's quite a bit of this. It's based on his diaries, and he also wrote The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, which is a book I've read, but I found really tough going, and it's not probably a book I will read twice, but it should be a book that I think everybody reads at least once to kind of get an understanding for some of what was going on at that time, and learn from history and avoid it happening again, because I think there's a real danger that might happen. So yeah, this is my current book I'm reading, next book on my TBR. So yeah, on that bright note, I'll draw the video to a close. Now the final prompt is tag some people. Robert didn't tag anybody, and I'm not going to either, but if you fancy having a go at this, then please do so. I'll put the prompts down in the description of the video, so you don't have to hunt for them. But yeah, I hope you found that interesting. If you've got any questions or comments, obviously let me know, and if you have been, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you again next time. Take care now. Bye bye.